Shana Tova. Amen.
That's cute.
If you're not laughing, I know you weren't here last night. Recently, I was forwarded a full-page ad placed by a Fortune 500 financial firm. In large letters it read, "Unemployment is lower in Switzerland, owning a home is easier in Australia, going to college is more likely in Canada, vacations are longer in Denmark, and crime rates are lower in England." But the ad continues. "More dreams come true in America." The ad then concluded, "In celebration of our 30th anniversary, a team of our editors and reporters traveled the world to determine who really lives best. Despite what we've heard about our nation's decline and what we fear may be true, we still live better than anyone else. The fact is, the American dream continues to exist." It is an upbeat ad, it is positive, it is affirming. It is certainly a sham. And any Jew of any conscience will be compelled to challenge its assumptions. For a Jew must be moved to ask, who are the we that live better than anyone else, and what is the dream that the we share? For we will look around and see homeless turned away from shelters for lack of capacity, and we will ask, are these the we? We will read of the factory workers and the white-collar workers laid off in city after city, and we will ask, are these the we? Are the we the 50% of African Americans who now live below the poverty line? Are the we the seniors still forced to choose between electricity and life-saving medicines? Are the we the 1 in 6 children in America who go to bed hungry every night? Are the we the 40 kids packed into a classroom who have given up all it ever meant to be a kid in pursuit of an elusive college acceptance? In the words of the prophets, we will conclude that the we are not the tired, the poor, the huddled masses that yearn to be free. The ones who are at ease in Zion, who lie on the ivory bed, who eat of the flock while the hurt of Joseph go unnoticed. The we are the 2% of our country who control 90% of the wealth, or at most. What is the dream? The American dream. Is it the dream of our forebears, come to a distant shore looking for a haven of equality? Is it the dream of the Native American yearning for a new day of justice? Is it the dream of a Martin Luther King Jr. that one day America's children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character? I would argue that the dream dreamt by the authors of this ad and those unhampered by what it means to be a minority, or poor, or out of work, or sick without insurance, or about to lose their home, or facing the rest of their years having been robbed of the nest egg they had worked for so long, or any other million voices unheard in this country for lack of corporate backing. Their dream is not the dream of any of these. Theirs is a dream born of indifference to the suffering of others. Less than a dream, it is a delusion that shelters those who say, Shali, Shali, v'shalcha, shalcha. It's a rabbinic teaching that translates, what is mine, what is yours. Don't bother me with your nightmare. My dream is all I need or am concerned with. My dream is all I see. My dream is all I want. Could anyone not already numbed by the desensitization of a national indifference to suffering miss the bitter irony in this company's ad? Follow the news, to read of the abuse of power in state after state in favor of those whose nations are large and hidden from view. The ever-growing control of corporate America over the conscience of America. All of it stems from an insufferable attitude of indifference. What I find most frightening is that this Fortune 500 company, with their finger upon the pulse beat of America, takes out a full-page ad because they know it will speak to the thousands in this country who would rather give up the pressing realities of their neighbor in favor of the deluding narcotic of their own self-indulgence. The rabbis call this attitude of indifference Adat Shalom, the standard of Sodom. And they formulated its characterization in the expression Shali, Shali, Shalcha, Shalcha. One who says, what is mine, what is yours, is yours. To the extent that we are concerned only in attending to what is ours, to our own needs, to our own realities, to the extent that this shields us from knowing the plight of others, to the extent that this is more than anything else, allows their plight to fester. We are like our sister city of Sodom. The words of Ezekiel, behold, this was the iniquity of your sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread, and careless ease was in her and her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor or the needy. Our prophets fought against such indifference, rallying us to hate the evil and to love the good, to establish justice in the gate, for this is what our God demands of the remnant of Joseph, and our rabbis too strove against indifference. Story is told of Rabbi Chaim Brinsky, who was allowed to take free of charge from the community stockpile of wood as a supplement to his salary. On one occasion, the leaders of the community discovered that the town bill for firewood had risen sharply, and after investigation, they found that the door to the woodshed was kept unlocked, and that as a result, the firewood was being used by the poor families of the town. To remedy the situation, they immediately put a lock on the door and gave the key to the caretaker of the synagogue. When Rabbi Chaim learned that the woodshed was under lock and key and that the poor could no longer freely take what they needed, he became upset. He instructed the caretaker to remove that lock and to let the poor enter freely as before, but when the community leaders found out what he had done, they appeared before the rabbi to protest. Simply giving away firewood to the community, to the poor, places too great a strain upon our communal budget, they complained. Well, if that is true, said the rabbi, then neither I nor any of my family will use the firewood either. For how can we sit in a warm house while we know that the poor are freezing? Shali, shali, shalcha, shalcha. Zo Adat Shalom. What is mine, what is yours. This is the standard of Sodom. For the leaders of Brinsky, it was to sit warmly inside while the poor froze in the cold. To be more concerned that the budget was strained, rather than that it was not straining enough. If we are among those who buy into this ad, into the American dream of its authors, then we too sit warmly inside with our own indifference. We too tolerate poverty and injustice amid our wealth and our privilege. We too focus our attentions more on preserving our limits rather than on expanding the reach of others. For this is a very close thing to you. This is what we will read on Yom Kippur. It is in your heart. It is in your mouth that you may be able to do it. Created in the image of God, partners in the stewardship of creation, the way, the means, the remedy to this ailment is within us. It is in our mouths, it is in our hearts, it is in our hands, and ready for us to make it happen. And either we choose to find it and apply it, and thereby assure life for all, the way life should be lived, choose life that you may live, or we invite the brimstone that ended Sodom. Also the curse have I put before you. Either we find the way to cure the disease, or no matter how much we delude ourselves, no matter how much that top 2% continue to make the sin of indifference, the sin of Sodom, like the sin that crouches at the door, will not go away. It will wait for us. And like ancient Rome and every other great society, it will be our end. Thought about the fury at the turn of the last century warned, don't shelter yourself in any course of action by the idea that it is not my affair, because it is your affair. It's a grave responsibility, this, to be a Jew. You cannot escape from it, even if you choose to ignore it. Jews of conscience, we can never escape our responsibility, or the consequence should we try. False ally in our own hands, and our worst oppression in the hands of others. Indifference is our curse, our kalala. Caring, justice, and passion is our blessing, our bracha. My friends, there is a class war raging in our country, but contrary to what perhaps you are hearing, it is not a war of poor against rich. It is a war being waged by the indifferent against the powerless. It is a war whose strategies are planned throughout the back halls of Congress and the boardrooms of corporations, and to this point, the most indifferent of our country have been winning. Over the last 30 years, the very richest of our country have continued to see their accumulation of wealth increase, even through this recession, while the middle class has remained so remarkably flat. Today, corporations, our job creators, are posting record unfathomable profits. Yet they continue to lay off more individuals than at any other time before. And the poor, well, the poor are getting poorer. I don't care if you are Democrat or Republican, Independent or Tea, the parties all drink from the same well of corporate greed and entitlement and funding. It inebriates them with indifference. And I don't care if you're a capitalist. I'm a capitalist. I know you all think I'm a communist, but I'm not. I am. I'm not very good at it. Be a capitalist. But for the sake of God's holy name, be a social capitalist. Torah never says don't make money. Don't aspire for material comforts. It's all in the balance. What Torah does say is that God would rather us tip the scale with a measure of heaven than with a measure of Sodom. And right now in our nation and in many parts around the world, the scale is way out of balance in favor of the latter. The poor are freezing. We do not sit warm inside indifferent to their plight. We know the sting of society's cold. We who are commanded to take care of the stranger, it is we who march on Washington in support of others causes less than parochial to ourselves, but every bit our own, because we are taught long ago there is no problem that is not our own. There is a dream out there, a true American dream, a dream established in that beautiful document I spoke of last night, and inspired by that beautiful document we will help to create this year. That dream has nothing to do with taking the wealth away from the rich. It has everything to do with having enough food to feed our families, and having an equal opportunity to earn a decent wage, and knowing that should we fall ill, we will be able to receive the care that we require. It has everything to do with being held in the esteem that every equal citizen deserves. We will not change our system alone, nor by the next election. What we will do is make a difference by becoming involved in holding our officials, all of whom do not want for anything, accountable to those who do. We will leave aside what is mine. For what is mine, I will share. We will ensure that the homeless and the jobless and the struggling to survive have food to eat tomorrow, the day following, and that until there is no longer a need for food banks, we, like our sister Israel, will respond to nations a world away like Sudan, where because of the world's indifference, millions are dying from the ravages of starvation. Adat Shalom. This is the measure of Sodom. Adat Shamayim. This is the measure of heaven. We are told to choose life for us and the world. So choose it. Make a difference. Begin today with a grocery bag and a check. Continue tomorrow in the halls of Congress. Amen. Amen.